before reading the next few chapters and opened the Twitter app on my iPhone. Right there in my immediate Twitter feed was a photo of a person with Oscar emblazoned on his chest in bold, capital letters. I simply smiled and thanked Oscar for still being an important presence in my life. Lauren Robertson teaches us that we shouldn't ignore signs like these as random chance and simply dismiss them, but instead view them as genuine communications from our deceased loved ones. It's through acknowledging and trusting communications that we develop our mediumship abilities. Lauren writes in a down-to-earth style that is both humorous and, at times, astonishingly real, as she shares some of her own personal struggles. It takes courage as a teacher to admit your own perceived failings, but Lauren does so in such a way that encourages others to be honest with their own selves too. It's through this honesty that we're better able to develop more self-love, which makes us more rounded individuals and better able to tap into our latent abilities. Lauren has a degree in English literature and philosophy. This has certainly influenced her writing. At times, I felt like I was reading a novel that I couldn't put down. At other times, I was taken aback by the extraordinary clarity with which she puts forth her ideas of how mediumship works. In Chapter 6, she proposes that mediumship abilities have evolved by natural selection and argues that ability is related to empathy. She then refers to mediumship as phenomenological empathy. I love that term. It appeals to me as a scientist and philosopher. I first met Lauren at Glasgow's SECC, Scottish Exhibition and Conference Centre. I had spoken at Hay House's I Can Do It conference, and Lauren had joined the book signing queue. When she reached the front, she asked if she could send me a few chapters of a book she was writing. Normally I wouldn't have time to do this, but there was something about Lauren, and the way she communicated, and the brightness of her eyes, and her whole being, that cried out I should read it. As she walked away, Michelle Pilley, the MD of Hay House UK, who was standing next to me at the time, leaned across and whispered, "Can you send it to me too?" Michelle also saw something special in Lauren. I believe that the book you're currently holding in your hands was always supposed to be read, and I feel gently satisfied that I was able to play a small part in the process by being a bridge that enabled Lauren to communicate with our publisher. I hope it helps you to develop your own communication abilities. David R. Hamilton, PhD, author of I Heart Me, The Science of Self-Love. Introduction. The idea for the medium in Manolos arrived whilst I was in the shower, covered in suds. I wanted to write a book about mediumship that was contemporary, fresh and innovative, building on the insights and practices of the mediums who came before me, and adding something new besides. I was inspired to write it because, time and again, my clients, students and colleagues felt that developing their abilities through religion didn't resonate with them, and they were looking for a different approach that would both nourish them and deepen their connection with spirit. What often came up in our conversations was the question, what next? Besides learning the basics of spirit communication and getting a lot of practice, my fellow mediums were hungry to do more, to learn more, to take their mediumship to the next level. And it became clear to me over time that the next level involved overcoming the fear and self-doubt that often prevent mediums from fully stepping in to their most miraculous work with spirit. It seemed that a book was needed to clarify, elevate and strengthen the mind of the medium. I had practiced mediumship one-to-one and on platforms all over the world for many years. I had completed an English literature and philosophy degree that focused on the mind, and I had trained as a transformational coach specialising in healing limiting beliefs. So Spirit and I agreed, that day in the shower, that I was the right person to write such a book. And so The Medium in Manolos was born. The Medium in Manolos is a manual of confidence. My hope is that, if you're grieving, you will find ideas in these pages that will help you to grieve confidently and inspire you to embrace your feelings so that they can be healed. I also hope that, if you are developing your mediumship, you will find tools and ideas here to help you overcome your fears and limiting beliefs and instill within you the confidence to do truly transformational work with spirit.